Hey guys, it's Gathering Magic back again, and it's Sunday, so it's time for another Market Watch video. Today is May 4th, 2025, and this is episode number 27 of the Land Market Watch for Splinterlands. So let's get started. There's a lot of movement and a lot of prices that have changed over the last couple weeks for land. So the amount of plots for sale currently in-game on Peak Monsters is 2,563, up slightly from 2 weeks ago when it was 2,517. But look at plot prices, how those have changed over the last 2 weeks. So 2 weeks ago, we were just above $40 in the marketplace and on Hive. You were looking at about $41 for an unclaimed plot. Currently in the marketplace, the cheapest one, there's one available for $55. And over on Hive, there are 15 plots total. The cheapest one is just under $60 at $59.32. As you can see, unclaimed plot prices have really moved up in the last couple weeks. As far as tracks and regions, the only ones available in game are the ones that have been there for months. 2 tracks, cheapest one is $11,750, and then the one land region at just under $89,000. Okay, time crystals. Since that big jump about a month ago where they went from 3 cents up to 7, they've pretty much stayed the same. You can see here over the last month, they're hovering right around 75 to 77 DEC per time crystal. So you're still getting a discount buying them from the non-card market than directly from the store, but they have definitely moved up a lot in the last month. Okay, totem fragments. So what have totem fragments done the last 2 weeks? So common totem fragments went from $1.20 up to $1.39. There's 26 more available than there was 2 weeks ago. Rare fragments have come down from $6.37 to $5.95. Epic fragments have gone up from $29.90 up to $32. But look at the supply. The supply has fallen from 28 available down to 16. And for legendaries, another big jump in price. 2 weeks ago, you could get a legendary totem fragment for $215. Currently, the cheapest one is $365, so a huge increase for legendary totem fragments. Okay, so now for complete totems. Common totems came down or went up slightly from $13.49 to $13.75, but look at the number available. So 2 weeks ago, there were 112 common totems available in the non-card market. Currently, that's down to 44. So a lot of totems have been scooped up off the market. Same with the rares. The rare price didn't really change, just under $48. But look at the amount available. 2 weeks ago, 35 rare totems were available. Now there's only 11. Epic totems have really dried up. $172.95 2 weeks ago with 27 available. Currently, there's only 3, and they start at $400. And then finally, legendary totems. 2 weeks ago, the cheapest one was $620. There were 7 available. Right now, there's only 1, and it's $1,000. So you can see a lot of movement in the higher rarity totems. For your totem claims, the commons came down from $15.25 to $15. Only 10 more available, still a ton of those. The rare totem claims went from $69.69 up to $73.50. Epic stayed the same. They stayed at $300, and legendary stayed at $1,750 for a totem claim. Okay, so now we're going to move on to land burn. So if you just wanted to buy the 50 cheapest plots on the marketplace, how much would that run? 2 weeks ago would have been just under $756, just over $15 a plot. Currently, the cheapest 5 plots are $788.82, just under $16 a plot. Okay, so now let's look at natural plots, the 5 cheapest. But before we do that, let's look at resources. Okay, so your resources, if you wanted to just buy the cheapest grain plot on the market, 2 weeks ago, $20 was the cheapest. Currently, it is 28. And a few days ago, I believe 3 days ago, the cheapest was like 32 to 34. So there's not very many grain producing plots under $30. Wood stayed the same, right about $14 per plot. Stone had a nice bump up from $14 to $19 is the cheapest stone plot. And ore went up a little bit from $18 to $18.90. Okay, now for the cheapest 5 plots per rarity. So your common natural, 2 weeks ago, $14 to $17, pretty much the same here. Your cheapest plots are in region 91. There's 11 slots available for 11 swamps for 14. Region 94 has 14 tundras for 15 bucks a piece. Region 62 has 13 swamps for 16 bucks. Region 118 have forests available for $16.99 and $17.99. Those are the cheapest common natural. Okay, moving on to rare. 2 weeks ago, $22 to $28 was the range. The low end has come up slightly to $24. So your cheapest rare naturals are in region 91. There's 10 swamps for $24. Region 108 has 3 plots for $25.49. Region 115 has a total of 18 plots available for $25.99 and $27.48. And then finally, for $28, you can get a jungle in region 42 or a desert in region 132. Moving on to epics. Now this is where we start getting into a lot of the big price jumps that have occurred over the last 2 weeks. And look at this, your epic natural plots. I'm gonna have to go back and look at some previous videos, but it's been a long time since an epic natural plot, the cheapest one was $120. You know, they've been in the, I think as low as like $75 to maybe $95 range for quite a few months, but currently they are very expensive. The cheapest at $120, there's 2 swamps in region 91. After that, your next cheapest jump up to $150. So there's a Badlands in region 23, a plain in region 71, so this is grain producing, and then in region 132 there's a desert, and those are all for $150 a piece. After that, it jumps to $175, once again in region 23, a Badland, and then it goes to $200 in regions 14, 135, and 136. And then finally, for $222, you can get a lake in region 132. So there are a couple grain producing plots here. They are pricey, but remember they are epics. So you're going to be getting 40% more for your production. And then your natural legendary plots, last time, $347.50 to $450. The low end is about the same, but as you can see, this dries up. I think this is all the legendary natural that are for sale currently on Peak Monsters. So for $348, you can get plots available in region 108 and 112. For in region 22, you can get a jungle for $450. And now look at the price jumps. Now you're going up to $825 for a tundra in region 60. Just under $1,000 in region 28 for a river, and $1,222 in region 40 for a river. So once you get past these 4, if you want to call them cheap, you're looking at $800 plus for a legendary natural plot. Okay, common magical plot. So 2 weeks ago, 35 to 40 bucks. Fairly consistent from 2 weeks ago. Your cheapest now is $37 in region 91. That is for earth magic. Basically 38 bucks in region 108. He has 2 death plots, a fire plot, and a life plot available. Region 85. 2 weeks ago they had 75 magical plots available for $38. Currently they're down to 47. So they sold 28 plots in the last 2 weeks. There's all different types and all different magic plots available. So if you're looking to get a good, good grouping of all your magical types, look no more than region 85. Definitely check that out. Besides region 85, region 91 has plots available for $38. They have 2 death magical plots and 2 water plots. Next it goes to $39 for a life magical plot in region 135. And then after that it jumps all the way to $50 in region 42 for dragon magic and region 135 for fire magic. Okay, now we get to the rare magical plots, and look at this price jump. So 2 weeks ago you could have got a rare magical plot for as low as $47. Currently the cheapest is $70, so big price increase there. That's region 96 for life magic. Next in region 42 he has an earth magical plot for $77.70. Then it jumps to $80 in region 42 and 91. $88.99 in region 108 for fire magic, And then finally in region 71, there's a Death Magical plot for $89. Okay, Epic Magical. Once again, up significantly from 2 weeks ago when you were looking at basically 127 to 299 for the range. Cheapest now is $199 in region 108 for Life Magic, $199 in region 112 for a Life Magical plot or 2 Fire plots. Then it jumps to $250 in region 91. He has an Earth and a Water Magical plot. And then in region 16, you're looking at Life Magic for $299. And then finally, a Dragon plot in region 14 for $500. Okay, and then finally for your magical plots, we're going to look at the legendaries. And all of them are gone except for region 85. So 2 weeks ago, it was 6 to 1200 was the range. The only ones left are in region 85, $888 a piece. There's an Earth Magical plot, 1 Fire, and 3 Water. So legendary magical are extremely rare, and as you can see, there is almost none left on the marketplace. Okay, common occupied plots. So 2 weeks ago, $74 to $80 was the range, pretty close here. Region 46 has a plot for $74. Region 125 have 2 available for $80. Region 91 has 3 available for $80. Region 13 has 1 available for $84. And then 85, once again, he has a ton of plots available. He has 18 common occupied plots for $88 a piece. Okay, moving on to rare occupied. So the low ends come down a little bit from 2 weeks ago where you're looking at 110 to 115. Currently you're looking at a very tight range of $95 to $110. So the $95 plot is in region 120, $100 plot in region 7, $109 in region 91, and then $110 in regions 42, 143, 110, and 140. Okay, moving on to your epic occupied plots, and I believe once again this is all of the ones that are available on the marketplace. So 2 weeks ago, 270 to 545 was the range. Right now there is a plot in region 60 for 300. Then you jump all the way up to $419 in region 29, and then almost a doubling in price from there, $800 in region 91. In region 5, there is a plot for $1,100, and then finally in region 26, there's an epic occupied for $1,250. So once again, extremely low liquidity for some of these rare lands. And then finally for your legendary occupied plots, 2 weeks ago, we were looking at $1,950 to $3,900, pretty much the same range again. For $1,999, he has 1 in region 85, $2,000 a legendary occupied in region 109, $3,000 for an occupied in 53, and then finally $3,900 for a legendary occupied plot in region 29. Okay, keeps. I know there's been a few people that have been picking up keeps over the last couple weeks. Last time the cheapest ones were the ones in region 85 for that $888. Now the cheapest is basically $1,350 in region 86. Then you're looking at $1,450 in region 139, $1,500 in region 85. He still has 2 keeps available. Region 50 for $1,666. And then finally in region 117, there's a keep for $1,900. Moving on to castles, one of the castles actually sold or was taken down. 2 weeks ago it was $8,450 to $8,888. You can see the only 2 castles available are the castle in Ravenwood 133 for $8,450, and then finally once again region 85 has his castle for $8,500. Okay, and finally we'll wrap this up with trade swaps just to see how you can swap what the how the movement has gone for all the different resources. So last time, if you spent 1 DEC, you would have gotten 89.48 grain. Now you will get a little bit more. You'll get 90.127 grain. For iron, last time you would have got about 2.7 iron per DEC. Now that's down to just over 2. The big move is stone. Last time you would have got over 8 stone per DEC. Now you're only getting 5. And then wood, 2 weeks ago, you would have gotten almost 36 wood per DEC. Now you're getting only 23.8. So that is how the trade swaps look currently. There you have it, guys. There is the Land Market Watch for May 4th, 2025. A lot of price movements, as you can see, in some of the higher end and more rare plot types. We'll see how that goes moving forward. Also, common fragments you can see have been drying up from 112 down to 44. So there's a lot of movement, not just in plots, but in totem prices as well. So there you have it. Hope you guys are doing well. Of course, next week we will do the card market watch on Sunday. So until then, stay the course, keep on forging, have fun, and I'll see you soon. Take care.